All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to round number 6. This was the game versus Katakuri. This guy was 6-0, super nice guy. Or this is 5-0. And yeah, no, this is round 7. This is round 7. Last round was round 6. This is round 7. So yeah, he was 6-0. I believe he actually went on to lose the last 3 after this, which I felt super bad about, low key. Maybe he didn't, but I don't think I saw him in the top 32. Which is really just unfortunate. He was telling me, I think his last 2 games, he had Beiji as the last card in his life. Had me sweating high key, because that's like, because they can stack it in the back of their life for 1. But just overall, of course, yeah, we go ahead. Flame Emperor is super crucial in this matchup, I think, just because they regain a life. You just smack them back down. It's like it never happened. So it's the only way that you can really like play fair in terms of their life. Also, I won the dice roll. We got deck checked. So we did have like a slight time extension, of course, past everybody. I think we went into time technically too. So a little bit of a longer game here. I hate taking 5s from Katakuri as well, but because like it's just a 1 card counter and all their other ones are so much more, but I think I really just was looking for some cards. I don't think I had a turn 4 play or turn 2 play for the 4 Dawn. Sanji, super strong start, because then Sanji's essentially a swinger. Also, love seeing Thunderbolt get trashed. Also means they probably have a second one. He's got 4 in hand. Super crucial to keep an eye on that too, because while they can have a lot of life, if you can just put a bunch of bigger numbers, you can usually break through. Because cards like Sparrow, Katakuri, and Big Mom all have no counter, so there's at least 12 cards that have no counter. We play the Atmos, so we're going to go ahead and pass. Now, see, he can, of course, go aggressive, swing with that Sanji, and get maximum value. Because I probably don't swing at it right. I think it's to stick around. Starts off with a 5. Seaquake, we minus the leader by 3 just to stop that leader swing possibly. We, of course, encourage that Sanji swing. But Seaquake, again, like, can pop that Brûlée. Always questionable when I trigger it. Like, watching this almost makes me want to not cut it from my deck, but I think it's just cost me before out of life, because, like, I don't have to trigger it. And then he plays Cracker, which is like, sure. Ideally, we play Thatch here. Thatch really, I think, puts in work. But it might be like Rush Luffy, because Rush Luffy gets counter out of her hand and also like swings this turn. I go 6 at Sanji. Like, let's get a 2K. If they have one, hand's really small. Yeah, we go ahead and get one. It's like maybe, because again, the hand resource is small. 5 at Sanji. We're just going to pressure this Sanji, just pressuring the hand. And we get a free blocker, so we'd love to see that. I'm going to go ahead. Yep, I'm going to play a Rush Luffy. I'm going to go 6 at Sanji again, making it super expensive to save. Because, like, one, I got, not only did I get cards, so, like, I got value out of that. Yeah, 6 at Sanji. It was very questionable, of course. Like, do I really want to go 6 at Sanji? But we're going to go ahead and go 6 at Sanji. And then of course I get it, and then I also got cards out of his hand. So now like my swings towards life are a lot more powerful as he goes into his 7 Dawn turn. So no Katakuri, he can play a Big Mom, and then gain or trash life. But I do have a Flame Emperor, so I could potentially do like some smaller pokes, possibly take a life, and then go big on a Flame Emperor. Also, going second is so strong against Scotty. Just taking that curve from them, playing with their curve, a lot harder. A lot harder. And then he stacked up some Dawn because he's just like, he obviously didn't want to get hit with the Flame Emperor. Very smart play, of course. I was like, what is that? What do you mean you don't want me to accidentally let you pop this? We're going to go ahead Rad Beam, right? Thinking? Don't want to do 2k, 1k like. Yeah, we Rad Beam. Or Guard Point. That's the one. Guard Point. Yeah, 7 cards in hand to there too, so I have more board than them and more hand, even though they have more life. Which, like, is fine, because, like, if they have no cards in hand, I can sprinkle away their life, right? And then, so that's, like, kind of ideal. Now they're going to go 8. And then 8 again. Maybe 8 at the Atmos, try to clear them. 8 at Luffy, of course, the unblockable Luffy. I might just let him go. Because it'll put me at 5 cards. Like, I get to keep the Luffy, but, like, maybe I'm just playing Ace next turn and clear this board. And then put a little bit of pressure on life. And then they go 9. And if they play Katakuri, I can Flame Emperor and hit them for 2, so... Gonna go ahead. I think I give it 2, but if he swings on it again, I'd just be like, yeah. 2k, 1k, give the Thatch. Yeah, I think I just opted to play Luffy over the Thatch just to get that instant value. I think rushing is super good in Katakuri. Looks at his life, he leaves it there. I'm like, cool. Yeah, you can have him. Yeah. Just couldn't have both of my bodies cleared, obviously. Like, if they went after both at the end of the day, I would have to save one. And now I can Ace or Flame Emperor. Probably Ace, though. Flame Emperor the next turn. Maybe it's a Flame Emperor. Because then we can pop the Cracker. But we probably swing 6 first, fish out. Think about swinging with lead. What could I have? Five at lead. So it's definitely... Yeah, get a Shirahoshi, Weepy Toshi. It's like, okay. Okay, he's got 2 cards in hand. So now it's like, yeah, I could play Ace, put 2 at the Cracker. You don't contest it. I think 6 at lead here. 2 cards in hand, of course, like, again, running low on those resources. So one, you lose bodies that you can play. And assuming he has a Big Mom, that really only leaves him with 1 card to counter. Goes ahead and takes it. He knew what it was, so that's why he just, like, sets it in his hand, right? No trigger. A Marco. Interesting. Interesting. 4 up. What? I guess I had 2 Red Hawks, and I wanted to be able to counter out. And of course, establishing that Marco early, because like if I try to establish in the late game, I get less value. But if he swings over, I can counter out of any attack for 1 Dawn, right? Super interesting on the 4 Dawn up. Had to be 2 Red Hawks that I would like to play. Didn't even clear the board. I've got less life, so it's fine. That might have also been it, right? Like turning, I couldn't afford to turn on Cracker. Again, like these are pretty much just all the characters he can swing with at this point. Unless he wants to like play Katakuri. He could like go 5 Pero, play Katakuri, because he doesn't get to 10. And then going into my next turn, I really want to put him in a position to where if he plays Big Mom, I'm in a solid spot. Plus with all those little cards in his hand. If I can, like, of course he'll get a refresh as soon as I start smacking the life, but at 3 life, it's like, do you go for board again? Which you might, and then I can just Red Hawk out, right? Yeah, 8 at Atmos, and now it's like, okay. 1 card counter with a Red Hawk. Oh, 1 with a guard point. Do I really have 3 guard point? I might. I might have 3 guard point. Eight at Atmos again. It might be double guard point and a Red Hawk, which would make a little bit more sense. I'm gonna block. Maybe? Yeah, we'll block because then he goes 9, right? And then I can, 1 card I might dump an ace maybe. Ideally something with no counter. A Fosa. That's bold. 3 cards in hand. Yep, so I need to put myself in a position to win or also like clear his board and pressure him very hard. Nine at the Atmos. Now Red Hawk, so good here. I think he puts this. No, okay. Yeah, 2 Red Hawk, perfect combo. Didn't waste any. Got all of his Dawn. Ace cleans his board, and then allows me to put a bunch of damage on there, and I still have a Flame Emperor. I could also Flame Emperor and like put him at 0. Still have 2 life with 1 blocker. It's got 4 cards in hand. Again, just hard assuming one's a Big Mom. It's typically a safe assumption, because if they don't have it, I definitely win. But yeah, really blowing through those cards in the Sanji gave me a ton of value in this matchup. Because if you just let Sanji go and then I put damage to his life, he gets like a ton more cards to work with in his hand. What am I plotting? What am I plotting? I think I'm going to fish here. I think I fish out at 2k and then you Flame Emperor. That's one of my favorite things to do. And then if they take it, I just go bigger on the Flame Emperor, right? Like, and then they go to 0. So you give me a 2k, and then my Flame Emperor is like guaranteed to connect at 9. Yeah. 2k. An Amandi. We'd love to see that too, because that rests the Fosa. We're going to play 7 Flame Emperor, yep. Pop the Cracker. And then so now he just has the Pero Sparrow. And then I'm going to go 9. So then his whole hand has to be counter, or he has to take it. And if his whole hand is counter, he has no Big Mom, and he's got nothing, and we just win. So the casino's not casinoing, no trigger. No trigger. So we love to see that. I have 2 cards in hand. A Thunderbolt there could have been detrimental, pop my blocker, and then he plays a Big Mom, then could go 5-5, and if I had no counter, could be it. Could be all they wrote. I left 2 Dawn up, probably another Red Hawk. I think I was a very event heavy, and had like 2 Red Hawk, 2 Guard Point. Something like that. So I think my hand right there is Red Hawk and Guard Point. But now, like, if he plays 10 Mom going to his 10 turn, he goes 2 life, but he's got 5 cards in hand, and I've got a number of swings. And he can't swing at my character. Technically 4 swings if we want to go in with Ezo. He was just saying, I was just thinking, it's still my turn. He was like, I'm like, yeah, my bad. Like, I'm just thinking. Because it's like, I might have a Fosa. I guess there's the possibility I have a Fosa, and it's like, or it's like, do I swing with my Marco, right? Like, because I could swing with the Marco, put him at 0. I can't lose my Marco. At most, he has 2 attacks if he plays a Big Mom. Yeah, I think I swing with the Marco here. And that's where I was debating on. It's like, is there a world where I lose if I swing with this Marco right here, right now? Because if I put him at 0, I'm in a solid spot. Or if I put him to 3 cards in hand, he draws 1, he's at 3 with the Big Mom, and he's at 2 life. Still in a really good spot. I remember. That's where I was. It was like, yep. And I just, you know what? I'm like, if you discard 2 cards, even better if you have to discard 3. But if you discard 2 cards, it puts you at a very low, like, very easy to connect with to destroy those last life. Because I'm like, do I need this Marco? Like, you know, like, do I need this block? Is there a world where I lose if I don't? I'm like, no, I'm good. If you play Big Mom or if you do 2 big swings, I'm fine. My man's thinking, what could that last life be? You know, is it something worth saving? You know, if it's a Beji next turn, could be huge. On this turn, it'll do nothing. Might even cost him 3 cards. Back in my day, when Marco was at 4, you would swing with Marco all of the time. Marco put in so much work. He still does. Deck MVP right here. And if he discards 3, it puts him at 2. He plays a Big Mom. He only has 2 cards in hand. Sevens get you there. Unless there's like a Bidgey. Again, like at the casinos could be not good. Again, big decisions here, obviously, because this is, of course, expensive. And if you go to 0, you pretty much can't play Big Mom, right? But, like, if you give me 2 to 3 cards, makes your hand really weak still. Boom, there it is. 3 cards. Putting Randolph and a 6. So, like, yeah, all bodies, too, that he could establish. So, he's only got, again, we got rid of one of those swings. So, 2 cards in hand, going to be 3. And then if he plays Big Mom, he goes to 2. But then it puts me in a very solid spot. As long as he doesn't, like, hit any crazy triggers. And then pretty much if they play Big Mom, right, like, they have to hope for... Yeah, they're going to start off their... I think I just go to 0 here. Like, there's no point in countering, probably. Or I can counter out, keep 1 life, then I still have the Marco, but... Forces me to clear the Parosparrow because he only has 2 swings, and I can still live another turn, so... Yeah, I'd probably just give him my whole hand, right? Because they don't have Rush typically. But if he had Rush Katakuri on some wild stuff, it could be could be crazy. Because he does have less life than me now. It's really like, do I want to? Do I go to 0, try to get these events that will boost me up, that I can discard with Ace? Because math really matters next turn. I give him the Fossa. Yep. Yup. A Makino. See, that was hard to let go of. But again, like, if I just clear the Parosparrow, they can only have 2 attacks. So then I'll live at least 1 more turn. Unless they have, like, Thunderbolt. But I trash the life. It's a Rush Luffy. Pass to me. I draw. I pretty much just want to go for game here. 2 cards in hand. I probably start off 7 with Atmos. Or if I'm guaranteed to go for game, I want to start off with... I still think Atmos, because, I mean, like, we lose the Marco, but they remove the Atmos. Atmos math is way nicer. But, yeah, that Makino would have really helped me push over to do, like, those 4 attacks, because it makes Makino, or it makes Izo a swinger for 5 Dawn, for 1 Dawn. And then, like, 3 Dawn, it becomes a 7 swing. So I could go 7, 7, 7, 7, easy. But, of course, we got to watch out for that casino. Got to watch out for the casino. Now we're going to start off 7. And if they ditch their whole hand to their next card, of course, is like a Sanji blocker, they don't get to trigger it. So it really, like, puts pressure for them if they're hoping for a blocker, that they have to take this. Because if that's a 2-1, and then that's a Sanji, and they discard this, and I swing 5, and they take it on Izo. Yeah, so they take it. Now I think I ladder up to 9. I might even 0-7 with the Marco. Would be crazy. Might be 9. Might be 9. And then that still gives me 5 to work with, so I could still go 7 with Izo if they hit like a Beiji. And they still need a 2k and a 1k or 3 1ks in their hand. And given that they hadn't played a Katakuri, it's probably on my side that they have something with no counter. But again, don't always count on that. Because like as you saw, I just dumped my whole hand. It was all counter. So it's possible. It's like, okay, do I do 9? Is 9 safe? If I go 8, they have to give me at least 2 2Ks, then 7 connects. And then I can go 6, maybe. It's like, okay. Because I'm sitting here, I'm just remembering he said his last card, his last life, his last game was Beiji. And it's like, okay. Well. Do I go 8? Just mathing. Like, what's the worst case with Izo, right? Like, they took a 7. Now I want to see how many 2Ks are in there, right? He's got 2 2Ks, maybe 3. Yeah, so it's very strong possibility with only 2 2Ks in trash that they have multiple. But I remember they discarded all 1Ks. He discarded all 1Ks. So it's very unlikely that he has a 2K unless he just pulled one out of life. Because he did just discard all 1Ks. But then there's also, it could be the last life could have been a 2K. Last life could have been a 2K. So I'm going to go, I think I just commit to 8. So then it has to be 2K, 1K, 1K, right? I think that just makes sense. Knowing that prior to that swing, they did not have a 2K. 8 could make sense. And that's where I'm sitting at. And then if I go 8, that leaves me 6, and I can go 8 again with Izo. Because, yeah, the 3 1Ks, again, just really tells your hand. He could have bluffed it, could have faked it, but at that point, it seemed like the bad thing to fake, right? Maybe it's the 4. Maybe I just risk it. But if there's a Sanji, it puts me in a not great spot. They do have to discard a card, but I can't 7-7. And I've seen the casino. Again, if that happens, I could possibly clear the Sparrow. And then I still have the blocker Marco. So unless they have another 10 mom, I can still take the attacks. And if my hand is counter, I'm still fine, right? So I've got a little bit of leeway as long as I'm capable of clearing the Sparrow. Because then I can block and buy myself another turn. As long as the card in my hand functions as counter. Feeling the stakes. Because with this win, I'm guaranteed Marco, right? Like, if I lose my next 3, I still get the Marco. I just go 9. Because I'm like, okay. Leaves me 6. If they counter out, it will cost their whole hand. And then I just have to hope that Izo can clear. Got 5, so I can go 7. So I can put 7 at it if they hit a Beji. Knowing that they discarded 3 1Ks. And just have to hope that that clears the Pero. They take it. Moment of truth. No trigger. So I'm going to go 10. Because they would need it. Mathematically, they just could not have it. Because 2 cards could be 2Ks. Yeah, but he had at least 1 2K, right? Like, 2K... Yeah, no counter. 2K, 1K, 1K. So, like, they probably pulled the 2K out. They were probably holding that... yeah, so they probably had Brule. They had to have Brule and Sanji as the 2, and then hit a 2K, and then pulled the Pero. Yeah, I was like, I could have went, but yeah. So C, had that been a Beige, and then I swung at the Pero Sparrow. He did have a 2K, 1K, stops that, and then yeah, my 1 card was counter, but like. Yeah, I could only stop 2 attacks, so if he went just anything reasonable, it would have been over. Crazy game. Huge shout out to Chance. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for the rest of the games.